Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Chair Yoga. I got a beautiful reading to close out today's class, so hang in there with me because it's really worth your while. It's a beautiful way to situate ourselves about self-love. So let's kind of begin with that theme. I want you to sit up nice and tall, use your good posture, come forward on the chair a bit so you're not relying on the backrest for support. It's nice to grab that block and put it between your thighs because that helps you align. It helps you to start feeling your way into your body and how you're holding yourself. So the block is a great tool for that, and for particularly for engaging those inner thigh muscles, which are a great source of core support for us to remember to engage that. So coming forward, I'm going to begin with a practice I've picked up from a teacher I've been following on YouTube, and she uses this term self-havening. And if you break down the word of what a haven means is a safe place, a place of refuge, perhaps. So we can offer ourselves that as part of the toolkit of regulating the vagus nerve. And so it begins with some things like this. I'm going to get my glasses off because there's going to be some movements here that include some just sort of bringing your hands and palms to your face and sort of smoothing that out around your below your eyes and on your cheekbones. Just a gentle touch. It feels like a gentle, maybe massaging, and you might do that, some of that across the forehead, where you're just sort of a little massage, maybe at the temples. So just as you get yourself situated, you're just bringing your awareness very much into this intimate space. So I'm giving you ideas. You don't have to follow this exactly. You might like to let your fingers rub into your scalp. All through the jawline is nice. And I like to just sort of cup my hands around my face, just sort of hold that for brief hold, just a way of self-havening, just bringing yourself into this position where you feel um, your own gentle touch, your own, soothing touch. And then let's bring that into the arms. We'll start like at the shoulders and just slide down those upper arms. Just like kind of feels like a hug, a hug that's in movement, that's moving. And yep. And then this is one of my favorites where you just sort of get your hands in this cup position and let that rest right at the very top of your shoulders, base of your neck, right where your neck and shoulders come together, and gently move your head around. And all the while, of course, we're slowing down. We're getting settled. We're using this as transitional time. I'll bet you've taken several bigger breaths, getting yourself situated. So keep that up where you start aligning with your breathing. And anything that we've done that you want to keep doing or do again, I want to just encourage you that this is all self-motivated. You decide what feels like a havening. So we're using that practice to bring us into this very compassionate, self-compassion is kind of the name of the game today. And once you've kind of found your way through that and are ready to now sit for our intention setting, then bring your hands to your lap, palms are open. Pull in your belly so you feel the engagement of your core. You feel like you're here to really hold yourself with good intention, like your body is starting this intention setting process by holding your body in a strong, purposeful way. Not so much so that you can't maintain it, but just enough that you are aware, you're familiar with it, you've done it many times, and you're bringing that in. You're bringing that into this practice right now of staying tall, using belly strength, pressing your feet to the floor. So you really feel the beauty of your strong body. Eyes are closed here as we take that inquiry, self-inquiry, deep within. Before you even let your mind come back into play, can you find some big breaths? Big full breaths all the way through that inhale, all the way through that exhale. Remember, I'm not going to introduce a particular breath practice right now, but I know you know some of them, one of them which is diaphragmatic. So if that's something that appeals to you, this would be a lovely time to start utilizing your diaphragm more intentionally as you breathe. Hands, of course, are open in the mudra of receptivity. Our hands are reminding us we are here to receive the benefits and blessings of this practice. It's like we've opened our hands for the gift to be laid right in there. Stronger breaths, just more aware of your breathing and how your breathing is, fueling your body. The awareness of that is a lovely gift of our aliveness, that we recognize that these breaths that are being breathed for us, that it is fueling your body 24/7. But now, for this practice of yoga, we start to participate in that, and it's very empowering, and it's also a great source for gratitude. You don't take it for granted. You start noticing the things that you have and experience in your life, and take a moment to recognize that and hold that in gratitude. So setting your intention, what it is you need from yoga today. What would you desire? This is for you. This practice is for you, and it's about you. Take that in for your benefit. Be gentle with yourself today. Do what you can. Make a modification when that's more appropriate. Breathe your way through these postures and movements and be restored by that. One more full breath. Good, and let's flutter the eyes open now. Squeezing that block. Make sure you now do a quick body scan. Press your feet to the floor so you feel your toes as well as the whole surface of your foot. You feel your toes, the ball of your foot, the heels of your foot. You can really feel the whole surface pushing down, and how that really brings some awareness and strength into your legs. Pull that belly and lift your chest cavity. So the whole chest cavity, your rib cage, is lifting up and expanding. As we raise up our arms, palms will just face forward. Straighten up your arms. See if you can lift those arms with no bend in the elbow. And keep reminding yourself, because we get them up there and we think, good enough, that they're up there. What's next? See if you can make that kind of a priority, that there's going to be a little more lift, a little more strengthening by trying to stretch through the bend of the elbow as much as you're able. Of course, right now we're breathing both in and out in this posture, just breathing in and out. But feel how it is in your back, just lifting up your arms. Your back feels different, doesn't it? Your back is stretching to hold your arms up. Back to the breath. I want you to find that full breath, maybe count it out so you can figure out how long does it take to inhale, how long does it take to exhale. So you match it up, or you even add a little more to it. So inhale perhaps is a count of 4, and then you make your exhale a count of 5, even 6. You're doing it. Keep your right arm up and let the left arm come down. Lift up, look up. Keep those breaths going. Keep those longer breaths going. Can you lift your head up any amount, tilting your face toward the ceiling? And the other arm is reaching down toward the floor. So they're both efforting. We're going to switch. Lift up, look up. Find that breath again. Long inhale, even longer exhale. And then bring your head back to neutral. Bring both arms to neutral, and we'll come into the mountain pose where our palms are close to the chair and our palms are facing forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's try that T shape where the palms face up. Stretch your hands open so fingers have spread apart. You feel like you're stretching through your palms. Take a look from one hand to the other so you can move around in your neck and find the range of movement that you've got. Be fluid about it. Don't be rigid. This is not something you're doing like a robot. I want you to be very fluid in your movement. You turn, you drop your head. You're just, being curious about it and move in a way your body feels listened to, if you will, that you're really noticing and honoring your body right where you are. But inviting, a little more spaciousness because you know how delicious that is. You don't want to deny yourself a little more range of movement because you want to feel how expansive and delicious that is. Let's bring our head back to neutral. Palms will come up and overhead. Let's take our inhale, exhale, bow up and all the way around, arms again alongside the frame of the chair. This time palms are facing in. Let's go find our cow and our cat. So start with that cow. Chest bone is forward, arms back. You can feel the shoulder blades moving. They're drawn toward each other. A real arch through the back body. Head is neutral. Breathing both in and out. We're patterning the body. The body's getting the hang of this. And on your next exhale, grab hold of your kneecaps. Arms stay straight, no bend in the elbow. But boy, I'll tell you where we're going to find some movement, and that's through the spine, the whole length of the spine. Pull back through your belly button region. Pull back, back, back. So you feel the C-shaped curve or a dome in your back. You try to exaggerate it. Arms are straight. You got a good kind of hold of your knees. So it keeps your shoulders right above your hips. That's the design of this particular instruction, is to make sure your shoulders stay above your pelvis. Let's do this as our vinyasa. You're familiar with this for sure. You can do it in your sleep, I'll bet. So we're moving through this on our own pace, our own rhythm of breath. You don't need to watch me, and you don't need to watch anybody that happens to be doing it with you. You can just move through this at your own pace, finding your breath to connect. And it's really important that we discipline ourselves to find that breath connection. Keep a softness about your face. We don't need any tension in the jaw, nothing in the, your tongue doesn't need to be pushing against the roof of your mouth. Relax all that. Last time, round through the back body. Come up to a neutral position. Let's reach up, palms face forward, straighten those arms, press your feet to the floor. And we're going to just one arm at a time. We lift up, look up. Remember to exhale completely. See if your exhale allows your shoulders to relax down into the back. We'll switch. Lift up, look up. Find the rhythm of breath. Get that exhale. Get it. Long exhale, letting the shoulder blades relax down into the back body. And when you come up with both hands, can you interlace those fingers so palms can stretch out in front of you? Interlaced hands, stretching the wrists, stretching all the joints in your hands. Lift that up. Palms are up. A little side to side movement. Keep your arms as close to your ears as you can. And again, as little bend in the elbow as you can manage. Find the rhythm that you can manage just fine. Your breath is easy. You're not finding yourself over exerting here. You're just finding a nice peaceful movement side to side. Stretch into the armpit chest. And all the while, you've got your wrists and your finger joints getting a stretch, getting some movement there. They need our attention too. A lot of us have some, I can speak for this, the arthritis in my hands really appreciates the movement, stretching. One more little side to side movement here, even it out maybe. And as you release your hands, I want you to open and close, open and close. So you're just maybe circling at the wrist joints. So you find lots of movement here, all the way super slow down alongside the frame of the chair. I'm going to tuck that block underneath, take a wider stance, do our circular movement. Feel your way into your pelvis now. Start to notice how your body is shifting around. You can feel yourself moving from one leg, one buttocks. You're just really feeling the shift move. Now try to let your chest guide. I could just feel my head pulling way forward. So make it be your chest is extending. Your head stays in line with the spine. So don't get your face pulled out there too far. Let's change the direction. If you haven't done it yet, let's change the direction of your circular movement. And lest I forget, let's go right into that work for the pelvic floor. So we're going to meet in the middle. Hands are on our thighs. Again, you're keeping your diagonal line of the back body, head, neck, and spine are in alignment. So don't let the weight of your head come forward. Let's go to work. Press your hands down so your legs are really pushing down. And we're lifting up the pelvic floor. We're trying to feels like we're lifting the pelvic floor up off the chair. We hold it as long as we can. We're squeezing, we're holding, we're using every tool we can do. And then we finally have to release it, relax back down. But keep going. I want you to do 10. Do 10 of these where you've held, and released. 10 if you can. If you found a different goal for yourself, just come up and wait. Just come up to an upright position when you finish your particular goal. Let's say no more than 10. That way we can kind of keep everybody in sync a little better. Really squeeze. Remember those inseams of your pants. That's a great reference. That's what you're trying to track on those inner thighs, the inseam of the pants, all the way up to the pelvic floor. Let's come upright now. Just come upright. Take a breath. I want you to do a little twist and turn, just gentle movement like this so you can feel that unraveling any tension that needs to go. Very wide stance. So very wide stance that you still feel your feet are well connected, but it's broad because we're going to drop one shoulder at a time into this space right here, this space between our legs. Drop one shoulder at a time into that space. So it's a twist like that where you're dropping that shoulder. I'm talking about right here. That's the shoulder I'm referring to. That's what's trying to drop into that center. Hands are on the thighs, elbows are squeezing in. Find a rhythm of movement. My preference is that exhale is when I'm folding. So if you're looking for some direction, you might try that. Exhale when you're folding down and bringing your elbow to the middle there. Excuse me, your shoulder to the middle there. Don't rush it though. Give yourself the full exhalation. Try to notice now where in your body that you're feeling this. Get curious now. Now, okay, I did it. I got an A. I'm doing it right. But are you feeling it? Can you feel where in your body you're really working and feeling the stretch? One more dip with the shoulder, one more. And we'll come back up. Nice job. Let's open up into that goddess position where we've got our elbows bent, maybe hands are open wide. And we've got that wide stance. So if you're thinking, well, I better bring my feet a little closer together, we're going to do a little open and close. Open looks like this wide open, knees are open, elbows. And then we're going to bring all of that together. So inhale, open, exhale, close. Definitely need to be on the front part of your chair. Otherwise your legs will want to drag. So be in the very front edge of your chair. Inhale, and then exhale. So you're giving yourself the full exhale. I know the temptation is to just rush right through that exhale and get ready to go again. See if you can use the discipline to exhale completely. Let's bring it together now. Closing, I want you to just interlace your hands. So it's just like you're just clasping your hands. I'm turning to the side. You don't need to do anything different. Squeeze your legs together, lift those elbows up, and then tuck the elbows down towards your navel. And you're all the while, as best you can, arms are together. So everybody's body shape is going to is different and will likely require a little modification here and there. I'll bet everyone can clasp their hands together and find whatever movement you can with those clasped hands. If you can get your elbows and forearms together, great. If not, just find what you can to tuck, lifting up, and then rolling down. So you can feel the movement of the spine. You can feel the difference about the way your head is being held, the weight of your head. I find myself breathing out of my mouth quite a bit here. So I'm just kind of giving you permission to recognize the breath might change. Last time, up and tuck that way into the belly. And when you come up, just start to reset, just gradually open into a wider stance again. Maybe you're moving your shoulders and getting some adjustments here. We're going to do a forward fold all the way through that center space, hanging your head down, letting your shoulders and your upper body drop as low as you can, eyes wide open. And I want you to look down and under the chair and actually let your eyes find something to look at. So you're focusing your eyes on something as you breathe big belly breaths. Keep your eyes focused, big belly breaths. Exhale completely. One more. One hand at a time, we'll jump to your thighs. Squeeze your elbows into your waist, meet me halfway up. Align that back body so you feel like your back of your head is in line with your spine, but it's a diagonal line. You come into that diagonal space. Here's where we're going to really use the back muscle. So your hands on your lap is a good way to support your low back. So if I got to keep my hands right here because I've got some, issues here. But if you're trying to strengthen, if you're looking for ways to strengthen, you can maybe just one arm at a time reaches out. I'm kind of out and up. Keep pressing that pelvis down into the chair. I'm going to try both straight out. Press, 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 pelvis into the chair. Both hands back to your lap. Take a pause. Let's circle that out. Circle that out. So see if that doesn't loosen up some of the tension you might have found in your low back. Loosen it up now. Change the direction. And let's bring our legs back to the neutral position where they're in line with the hips. Let's get into the figure 4. So just get that foot up and bring it in towards the crease of your other leg, that crease of the thigh there. And let's start massaging. Any massaging at all. Maybe it's your foot that wants more attention than your knee does. So whatever you might need, but keep yourself very upright. And we're going to just drape our arms past that shin and wait. Now, that's one way to do it. This kind of fold and hold is what I've introduced to begin with. But I want you to remember some options that we've done. And that would be more of a pulsation where you maybe hold on to your shin and you're going to bring yourself up and stretch into that for a moment and then you come back up. So the pulsation option is one way you could do it instead if you're looking for a little modification, or fold and hold and let your body weight deepen into this stretch. Again, try to keep your head in line with your spine. Don't let the heaviness of your head come way forward. That just causes issues with your neck. We don't want to do that. I gave you 2 ways. There's probably 30 ways that you could hold yourself here. So go for it. Whatever just strikes you as the most supportive. Let's finish the breath we're on. Exhale it completely and bring ourselves upright. I want you to just touch your hands to your shoulders. And all we're going to do is take that crisscross. So you're going to take your elbow and see if you can bow down and bring it to the inner knee in some way. Come forward and twist. I just found, just going to give you this tip, the standing leg, I had it a little bit too far tucked. I just stepped it out just a tad. It made a huge difference in terms of access. So if you want to, see if that might be useful for you. 2 more. And when you come out of that, let's take a big sweeping action. Why not? Hold on to your chair, bring that foot to the floor, and let's do a couple practice rounds of that. This, believe it or not, that creates a range of movement in your hip. So let's bring it on down. Side 2, pull it in, do your massaging. Standing leg, got to make sure that's positioned well, that your foot, your heel, your ankles are right under your knee so that you've got a lot of support for this. Side 2 feels different, right? That they most always do. So just making your changes. Maybe this one's a lot easier. Nice long spine. Arms either just drape past your shin and you're letting your body weight come forward by way of your chest coming forward, keeping your head very neutralized so there's no strain in the neck. Fold and hold is this option, or you can do the pulsation. So maybe one side you did it one way and this, you just pay attention to what your body needs. There's no wrong way. You're just going to figure out what gives me access, what makes this feel good to me. Find your breath. My most repeated line maybe is, that longer exhale. You can always do good yoga by making sure you've got a nice long exhale. Maybe 2 more breaths doing this work, however you're doing it. And when you come back up, get real strong and tall. Hands are going to touch the shoulders, create those little wings. And now we're going to dip and twist the other way. I just suggest that the exhale be when you're doing the major work, when you're dropping into the twist and bringing your elbow down. That might be when you're exhaling. Inhale is neutral. Exhale is when you're releasing into that. Last one. And come back up. We're going to kind of take a big sweeping action to come out of that. Grab hold of the chair and bring that down and back up. Last time. Both feet to the floor. Let's scoot our feet under a little bit and then bring yourself up and out of the chair. Let's take a practice of that. At least 3. Grab your block, if you will, and put it between your lower legs. So meet me standing in front of your chair with a mountain pose now, and you've got the block between your lower legs now. Make sure your feet are even, that you didn't sort of scissor your feet so one's in front of the other. Make sure they're even and they feel parallel to each other. Pull that belly in. Now let's grow the root of the tailbone. So I want you to stabilize your low back by just letting your pelvis kind of square away so it feels like you could root right down that tailbone, right right between your feet. You feel yourself got 3 roots now, both feet and that tailbone root. That'll really stabilize your low back. Palms face forward alongside of the frame of you. Let's find our breath. Head, neck, and spine in alignment. Soften the knees so they don't feel locked at all. You're just going to give a little micro bend, so that feels a lot. Yeah, that's a lot softer there. Close your eyes if you're open to that. That was a good one. Close your eyes so you're open. Close your eyes so you can really center on that inside view. If it's not comfortable to close your eyes, you don't feel safe, look at the floor. Just get your gaze to look down to the floor, and that will accomplish much of what we're looking for here. Feel the root of your tailbone and see if that allows you to soften into your low back, that you're not overdoing. Your back now feels very supported and there's ease there. There's not, it's not so much efforting. There happens to be ease in your low back. All right, let's flutter the eyes back open. Just take a second to get used to that. Extend your arms out. I've just got palms down, extended out into a T. Remember this one where we make sort of an L shape with our arms? We bend at the elbow. And I want you to just find the rhythm where you switch. The back arm is doing the same thing as the front arm. It's just a little difference by switching side, arm to arm. There's just this mind over matter here. Now, remember what we're going to do is, let's just start here. We got our arm in front. The arm in front is the way you turn your head. So if your left arm is in front, you're turning your head to look left. If your right arm is in front, you're turning your head to look right. You got it? And see if you can pick up a little bit of pace with that. Eventually, don't be in a giant hurry to race through it. But once you sort of find the rhythm of it, then see if you can trust the rhythm. And you're just flowing with it. You're not overthinking. You're just feeling like, well, heck, there's just nothing to this. I'm just moving. I'm turning my head. I got my mountain pose here supporting me. The back hand kind of presses into the back wherever it lands. Press it. It takes a second. It's just a press. Two more. Let's come back to neutral. Arms are alongside the frame of the body, and we've got our palms facing forward, our mountain pose. Breathe through the length of your body. Now let's start ascending the breath from the soles of the feet up through the front of the body, ascend it all the way to the crown, and descend your exhale down through the back body, all the way down back to your feet. Full body breath like that. Front body ascension, back body for the descension of the exhale. So very disciplined breath, isn't it? Takes a lot of paying attention. That's what we're doing. Last breath like that. And we'll lose the block. We can get rid of that for now, put it to the side, and make our way near the chair now for some standing poses. You might not need to do a thing with your chair. I always have to adjust it so that I feel like you've got some visibility. Start with just the support of the chair so we can move into the joints, but let's just get that leg, our bent knee up in the air, and we're moving around in the foot. Maybe you got your other hand supporting that, maybe not. So moving through the foot, getting the ankle stretched out, the toes. And then for our knee, just start to circle that lower leg and you can just move through your knee joint, change the direction. All the while that leg is up, suspended in air. And that knee comes up and we're just going to rotate it off to the side. That bent knee is just held up at hip height or whatever height you're able to do it. So it could be lower. That's still moving through that hip joint very nicely. So you decide where you're going to hold that. Kind of an open and close. Can't you feel that? Open and then we bring it back to center. That feels like the close, open and close. And bring it back to the floor. Let's shake it out. Really shake out both legs. Kick, kind of do a kick. And let's move to side two. So we start by just hiking up that leg. We're going to start with the ankle and the foot. Maybe slow it down so you're all caught up with your breath. And when you're ready, go to the knee joint. The knee joint means the lower leg is circling around. Maybe you do 3 or 4 going one way, and then you change the direction, do the same, something like that. And then we're going to hold that knee up and rotate it out. So open and close. Open it wide and close it up towards center. Beautiful. And both feet to the floor. Inhale up, both. So it's just a full body stretch, no bend in the elbow. Lift up your chest. If you can lift your face up to look toward the ceiling, great. Feel your feet making an imprint on the floor. Use your imagination now to squeeze a block between your thighs. You don't need to have it. You can imagine it. And bring your head to neutral. Let one hand grab your wrist, so the other hand is the palm of the hand, not the fingertips, reaching up. We're going to try a little side bend. Now, I've got a very narrow base. My feet are only hips distance apart. If you do this better, you feel a lot more secure. When you've got a wider base, then be sure to include that. So just a stretch, like the arm is pulling the other arm over. We'll switch, come all the way up, just do a switch. Right past your ear. Plant your feet, feel the roots of that. And come all the way up and take a backstroke to release from that. I think we're going to need another backstroke. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. Good. Let's move into some traditional yoga poses, some standing poses done in traditional yoga. I'm going to put my chair to the side only for visibility. You could be doing this from the back of the chair perfectly well. So if you know that's a better secure position, that you're just standing behind the chair, then do that. Let's take a wide angle. We just open up our feet wide. The feet are parallel. And then turn the foot that's closest to the chair, or, let's just say turn this side over so the toe is pointing away from center. So one foot pointing forward, the other foot pointing to the side. We're bending in to that so that your knee follows the way your toes are. Your kneecap is following the way your toes are pointing. One straight leg, one bent knee. I like to pulse into this. Stretch that knee, coming into that knee bend, pushing down. There should be a line that the front heel and the back heel line up. I happen to have a yoga mat here, so it's easy for me to trace that. I just follow the edge of the mat, but you can find it just on your flooring, wherever you are. We're going to hold the bent knee. Hold the bent knee. So let's say your left knee is bent. That means you're going to extend your right arm out. I want you to really pull yourself in the direction of your right arm. So it feels like you're balancing your weight. Because, when we bend that knee and we hold it, we seem to lean in that direction. But I want you very upright. So let's just see if we can right ourselves. One leg bent. And then both arms. I've got palms down for now. Get strong with your belly. See if you can use that belly, pulling in the belly to stabilize your low back. It's kind of a little bit of a rooting that you need to find again in your tailbone. It's almost a tuck. put as much weight into the straight leg as you got into the bent knee side. Just see if you can find that distribution of body weight. Right arm comes to the right thigh. The other arm is reaching to the sky. Look up. One more full breath. And we'll come all the way out where we straighten both legs. Maybe you just bring them together, heel toe, and we're going to get out. Just find a little kick to reset the body. Again, you're probably just behind your chair, so you haven't moved anything, and you don't need to. Let's take that wide angle again. And we're going to do side two. So the other foot is turning. Foot's pointing this way, other foot's pointing this way. We bend in. So the kneecap is following the way the toes are going. And if you're finding that's not true, your kneecap doesn't seem to be tracing that, move your foot, because your knee is what's going to define this. You can't make an adjustment with your knee, but you can definitely make an adjustment with your foot. So turn your foot, change the way you've put your foot down so that your knee is tracing those toes. All right, let's start with just extending that left arm to kind of bring you upright. And then both arms, warrior two, big breath. The stance, the distance you have between your feet, that can be modified. You can do it quite different from what I'm doing and still be doing this. So if your legs are closer together, you're not doing it wrong. You just made a modification. Big breath in and out. Now remember, we're going to drop a hand to the thigh and the other one reaches to the sky. So the bent knee leg, that side of your body, that arm is reaching to the sky. Finish the breath every time. And let's come back to our warrior. And arms are down now. Straighten both legs and see if you can sort of heel toe yourself back together. Stretch it out, shake it out. And bring yourself near your chair so you've got the seat of the chair available to you. And we're going to start with, I'm going to stay with the same side. For the triangle pose, it's not as big a step. Let's not do quite as big a step. So we're not as far apart with our feet, but the toes are pointed exactly the same. Toes pointing exactly the same as we did in the warrior. I'm going to bring your hands to your hips and just sort of move your hips like this, like you're trying to just get that little sassy movement of the hip. And then hold that as you extend yourself down to find the chair seat. So your shoulders are kind of stacked. You're going to bring that top arm way behind your back, maybe pressing the back of your hand into the back body some way. Notice how you're holding your head. You want your ear facing the chair seat. You can hold it just right here, hand on the chair. Arm can either stay tucked behind you or reach a straight arm to the ceiling. And for those of you who are into a deeper pose or are able to achieve a little deeper version of this, you could let go of the chair and have your hand pressing into the inner part of your lower leg. Arms straight up and down, and then you're just making sure your head is held in a neutral position, right? Even now, your head, neck, and spine are in alignment. So hand on the chair, I'll bet for a good many of us. Let's bend into that front knee, bend into it to come out. And again, we're going to just shake it out, kick it out, shake it out. Side two, not quite such a wide stance. And if I'm rushing you, you just stay breathing. You might want to sit. So if I'm rushing you, just take your time. The toes point this way and this way. Both legs are straight though. And we're going to start moving that hip, kind of a rocking of the hip. And once we've got it rocked over there, then it starts to come down, 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 where your hand can make contact with the seat of the chair. That back arm is going to come way behind you, pressing the back of the hand into the back body, almost to that back buttocks. And then you've got your ear in line with the chair seat. This is a great way to do a triangle right here. Other variations we did on the other side were raising the back arm up, but keeping the other hand on the chair seat. Or you could bring that hand to the inner thigh, so you're not making contact with the chair at all. Feel the rooting. Now, if you're feeling a lot of strain in that inner thigh, soften the knee. Just soften the knee. There's a little bend in your knee. That's okay. One more full breath, and we'll bring ourselves out of it. For sure, bending that knee to bring yourself out of it. All right. Let's shake that out. Turn your chair or move your body so that you're in a position to be facing the chair seat. Let's interlace those hands behind the back. Just pull those knuckles back, opening up the chest. Take your right foot forward, left foot back. I've just got all 10 toes facing the chair. It's just a scissor step. Interlaced hands are going to I'm going to bring myself to a parallel position where the spine is parallel to the floor. So this is a version, holding it with those interlaced hands. Stay with me, just listen. You don't need to watch. A big breath here. Keep your body the same. Bring your hands to the chair now. Palms are on the chair. Now breathe. Keep pulling your buttocks back. You're pulling actually the whole pelvis back. Yep. Now bend into that front knee. Bend it so that you can come up. All right, we'll shake that out. I'm going to stay right here to do the other side. So again, we're interlacing hands. Left foot forward, right foot back. So if I'm doing this out of order for you, just find the order that suits you best. And we all land together with interlaced hands and we're opening up our chest, both legs straight. We're folding, hinging only at the hips, so we've brought our spine into a parallel position to the floor. Tuck that chin in towards your throat. Interlaced hands are pulling back. Now this leg is very tight for me, so I'm bending that front leg. I'm bending my knee because it just feels tethered for me today. And I'm not going to put up with that, so I'm bending the knee. Now just bring your hands to the chair. Nothing else changed. You just now brought your hands to the chair. Tuck your chin in towards your throat so it feels like the back of the head and spine are nicely aligned. Pelvis is pulling back. Keep your hands on the chair. Step that left foot back and find your downward facing dog. Arms are going to be right alongside your head. Feet are parallel. They're nice and even. Feel the length of your spine by way of your armpit chest supporting that. And of course, your pelvis is actively pulling back, kind of up and back. I like to put my finger pads on the chair rather than my whole palms down. I just like the shift in what's going on with my arms and shoulders. So just something you could try. Let's deepen the breath. And again. And one last breath like that. We'll start walking toward the chair. And we're going to bend the knees quite a bit. Let's open up our feet wider than your chair. This is a squat, so if you're not into it, you don't need to try it. But I'm holding onto the chair seat and squatting, letting the tailbone down so the knees are really bent. You can move here. There could be some movement of the hips. You don't have to hold it locked in or robotic. You can be more fluid with it. And then scoot that butt back so you can bring yourself up so there's no harm to those knees. And then we'll bring ourselves up nice and easy. Back now to a mountain pose. Palms are facing forward, arms are alongside the frame of the body. Deepen your breath. Soften the knees. Let's find that full body expression of breath. Inhale ascends through the front part of your body, and the exhale descends down the back. Again, if eyes closed does not feel comfortable or safe to you, just keep your gaze at the floor, and that'll be a much more steadying for you, I'll bet. A chant is coming to my mind. I just want to say it as we start to cool down and bring ourselves into our relaxation time. Just any moment now, we're going to settle in for that. And that chant that some of you are familiar with is Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Namo is a word that is I honor or I bow to. Om is just the sound of the universe. It's kind of, many people's tradition would say that's God. So Om Namo is saying I bow to, I honor God here, the universe here. And Guru Dev, Guru is a teacher. Dev is a divine teacher. Guru Dev Namo. So I bow to it. It's typically in the yoga tradition considered that that teacher is who's inside you. It's the guide, your inner guide. You can trust yourself. The Guru Dev Namo. You also bow there. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Good. Let's flutter the eyes open now. Let's finish with the arms coming up and overhead. We take a big inhale here. Exhale, bow at your heart. Inhale up and exhale, come all the way down. All right, time for a second chair for those of you who use that. Otherwise, you're coming into your relaxation time. So whatever that means, whatever your means of doing that, this is a time for that. I'm going to move myself a little bit over. Okay. Make sure you're all caught up in your breath. So, make that a priority. Once you get settled, relax into your body so your breath is really calm and you're all caught up with that breath. Try to notice a subtle awareness here. I know you got a lot going on as you get yourself situated. Just a subtle awareness of that aliveness that you feel, that tingling charge in your body. That's that experience of prana. I want to remind people to notice that, pay attention to that. Such a great experience that we can recognize from our yoga practice. Feels healthy, feels good, feels empowering. I'm going to step off camera and just kind of direct you time just here and there, not a lot of chit chat. So you're able to quiet the mind, quiet the body. Unapologetically, this is probably everybody's favorite time. Relax the shoulders. Relax the part of your body where you typically hold stress. Maybe that is your shoulders, maybe it's your low back, wherever it is in your body that seems to just grip and hold tension. No judgment about it, no story. Just soften and relax. Give it some love. Give it some kindness. Again, we're catching up with the breath, making sure we're all settling into a deeper, longer, easy breath. Softening the belly. Relaxing the arms. Be sure your mouth feels relaxed, the tongue is soft, your jawline, all the muscles that surround your eyes, really all of your facial muscles are relaxed and feel very soft. Maybe listen for your breath. Full breath in, full breath out. No hurry. Resting now, just resting. And the reading today is from Melody Beatty's book, Journey to the Heart. And this one is entitled, Discover the Power of Loving Yourself. Sometimes it's hard to trust life with all its sudden twists, turns, and storms. When something unexpected or painful happens, when we become blocked or frustrated, when life takes a different course than we hoped it would, it's easy to stop trusting the flow of our lives. I didn't ask for this. It's not fair. I don't want this, we think. This road isn't leading anywhere, at least nowhere I want to go. Often, when we feel life has turned on us, we respond by turning on ourselves. But turning on ourselves doesn't help. In fact, it can compound the situation. It can prevent us from hearing and acting on the very guidance that will lead us through, get us through, and take us to the next place. It can prevent us from hearing our heart. Keep loving yourself and taking care of yourself, no matter what, through the storms, the twists, the turns, and the blocks. Take a moment, breathe deep, restore yourself to that sacred place of self-love and self-responsibility. Feel all your feelings, then let them go. Love yourself until you can hear your heart and what it tells you to do. Love yourself until you find the courage to act on that guidance. Loving yourself is a powerful tool, a powerful force for change. It can reconnect you to creativity, to universal love, to the best possible flow of events within your life. It can and will reconnect you to life's magic. There is a trustworthy road through whatever life brings. Loving yourself will help you find it. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale it out of our open mouth like a big sigh. Ah. Ah. We're going to need to introduce movement back into the body. So if you've got a second chair, you'll want to get your feet back to the floor. And maybe come forward again on your chair so you're no longer reclining, you're no longer leaning back into the backrest. Instead, you're sitting in a place of right alignment. Keep breathing those deep, full breaths. Feel the relaxation in your body now, the calmness. Take another one of those cleansing breaths in through the nose. Sigh it out, big sigh. Ah, good. Let's sync up our breath. Inhale with me, palms will come together overhead. Lift up and look up. Exhale, bow at your own heart. Inhale back up. And when we exhale, this is when we share this beautiful energy, this peaceful, loving energy with our community. Unconditional, positive regard for everybody. Palms come together in the prayer position at our heart. We bow to ourselves and we bow to each other. Namaste, my friends. Thanks as always for joining me.